Good day, this is Rephael Catap and I'm from Manila, Philippines. This video lesson is for week 3 of Introduction to Music Production at Coursera.org. I will be demonstrating on how to configure a submix on a DAW. Let's start. I'm using Pro Tools HD 10.3 for this video lesson. I'm also using a Focusrite Saffire Pro 24 DSP audio interface. As Loudon gave this particular example, if you're working with a big project, let's say an orchestral music, that could easily be 100 tracks that you would have to single-handedly mix all at once. Now that seems trouble to me if you're attempting to work and process every single track and to effectively mix them all at once. So what we will do is to create a submix for groups that belong together, like let's say drum sections. And I will tend to submix them and putting them into just one fader that I could process and control the volume as a unit. Or let's say string sections, and grouping them to another single fader that you could bring up and down. So maybe you started with 100 tracks, but you end up with just a few faders at the very end. So this is a very common procedure, and I will teach you how to set up a submix in your DAW. Do take note that when setting a submix, you're gonna be using a single bus and track outputs. When setting up a bus, give it a good name. So if you have your tracks in your DAW, you would route their outputs to your bus. So if I will submix my drum tracks, I will create a drum submix bus. I will edit my drum track outputs, let's say my snare track. I will set its output to the drum submix bus, the kick, hi-hat, and other drum tracks to the drum submix bus. And I have a single aux track whose input is that drum submix bus. So I just submix my drums onto a single aux track where I can now put an insert and I can put effects like EQ, reverb, or compressor that affects the drums as a single unit. I also have them on a single fader, so I can bring the level of all the drum tracks up and down as a single track. Let's see how submix works in our DAW. So this is my pre-recorded track. Let's take a quick listen. Okay, so as you can hear, we have a couple of drum tracks here. This is the kick, this is snare, this is hi-hat, this is toms and crash. A lot of drum tracks. I might want to change their volume in one single fader. Especially if you're doing more drum tracks than me, you might want to submix them. In order for us to do that, we will need to change the outputs of your drum tracks to a bus. Before doing that, let's check setup and let's go to I/O. As you can see here, we have several bus tracks. So this one is the bus that we will be using. So I'll just double click that and I will rename it to drum bus. Okay, so click OK. Okay, so after doing that and after renaming the drum bus, I will set all of this to a drum bus. So you can see here, this is your new outputs for your drums. So drum bus, I will set this toms to a drum bus and I will set them to a drum bus. But as we listen to it, so you just have listened, there is no sound coming from the drum tracks because we need to insert first an aux track. In order for us to hear the drums again, we will need to create a stereo aux input. Create one. We have an aux track. This is the aux one, and as you can see, there is no input. We need to set the aux track input to your drum bus. Let's see what happens. So basically that's it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned how to do a submix. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next week. Thank you.